Ladies and gentlemen, it is often said that faith can move mountains. Maybe it can. But right now, even faith cannot move the monster traffic jams that have halted the pilgrims' progress to the Maha Kumbh. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are planning a visit to Prayagraj for a dip, especially by road, I would urge you to see the pictures on your screens and, more importantly, log on to social media, which is full of people stuck in jams for 12 to 48 hours. They are calling it the world's biggest traffic jam that stretches all the way up to Madhya Pradesh. Essentially, to put it simply, all roads leading up to Prayagraj are gridlocked. And even within Prayagraj, 7-kilometer jams have tested the faith and the patience of even the most devoted. Now, ladies and gentlemen, at one level, you can dismiss this as the weekend rush. But fact is, this is how it has been even on weekdays. Many of you, many people are traveling to Prayagraj with their elderly parents. Imagine being stuck in a traffic jam for endless hours without a bathroom in sight. My colleague Gaurav was on the ground this morning and sent us this report.
प्रयागराज में कई जगहों पर लगातार जाम की स्थिति गंभीर बनी हुई है। इस वक्त अगर आप ये रास्ता देखें तो संगम से वाराणसी की तरफ जाने वाला रास्ता है और यहाँ पर रेंग कर गाड़ियाँ थोड़ी देर में जो हैं वो चलती हुई नजर आ रही होंगी। और अगर पीछे की तरफ आप देखें तो आपको यहाँ से लेकर शास्त्री पुल और पीछे प्रयागराज तक इसी तरह का जो ट्रैफिक है वो नजर आएगा। और बीच में ऐसा होता है कि कुछ मिनटों के लिए ट्रैफिक निकलता जरूर है, लेकिन उसके बाद ट्रैफिक जो है वो रुकता है। और आप देखिए, ये इस स्ट्रेच में थोड़ी दूर के लिए ट्रैफिक बढ़ा और उसके बाद आगे लंबा ट्रैफिक जाम जो है वो लोगों को देखने को मिल रहा है। और लोग यहाँ पर फंस रहे हैं जाम में, लंबे लंबे समय के लिए फंस रहे हैं। लोगों से बात कर लेते हैं। हाँ जी, कितनी देर के लिए फंसे?
सवेरे 4 घंटे से इधर।
कहाँ से आ रहे हैं आप?
हम शिरडी से आ रहे हैं। शिरडी
से आ रहे हैं। 4 घंटे जाम में फंसे?
सवेरे से 4 बजे से इधर लाइन में खड़े हैं।
अच्छा, तो
बहुत ट्रैफिक जाम मिल रहा है सर।
कितना जाम में फंसे?
सर करीब 3 से 4 घंटे।
कहाँ से आ रहे हैं आप?
सर हम इंदौर से हैं।
हम जाम में 2 घंटे से फंसे हुए हैं।
अच्छा,
हाँ जी।
कितना दूरी तय कर पाए 2 घंटे में?
10 किलोमीटर बस।
अच्छा, 10 किलोमीटर। तो देखिए, लोगों की अलग अलग कहानियां, देश के अलग अलग शहरों से जो है लोग पहुंच रहे हैं। अलग अलग रास्तों में वो घंटों जाम में फंस रहे हैं। तो ट्रैफिक कभी चलता है, कभी रुक जाता है, लेकिन ये चलना ऐसा है कि चींटी की चाल है। 2 घंटे 4 घंटे में लोग जो हैं कुछ किलोमीटर पार कर रहे हैं और लोगों को इस वजह से पैदल भी जो है बड़ी संख्या में आना पड़ रहा है। लोगों की दिक्कतें यही हैं।
So harrowing, ladies and gentlemen, was the situation on the highway from Rewa in Madhya Pradesh to Prayagraj in Uttar Pradesh that the police there was actually asking them to turn back. And the Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh has come out to appeal to all devotees to check Google for traffic before they head out. Listen in.
सभी से रिक्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं कि प्रयागराज जो भी लोग जा रहे हैं पुनः एक बार विचार कर लें। बहुत ज्यादा सड़क में आगे जाके जाम है, इसीलिए आप सब लोगों को एक प्रकार से सूचना देने के लिए खड़े हुए हैं कि एक बार अपना पुनः मन बना लीजिए और कोशिश करिए कि घर वापस चले जाइए। वर्तमान में इसी प्रकार का जाम पूरे 200 किलोमीटर लगा हुआ है। 200 किलोमीटर इसी प्रकार का जाम है। आप लोग कोशिश करिए कि घर वापस चले जाएं। आप लोग कोशिश करिए कि घर वापस चले जाएं, अन्यथा इससे भी अधिक जाम की स्थिति आगे है।
कुंभ में मैं स्वयं भी स्नान करके आया हूं, लेकिन मैं अपने अनुभव से भी बता रहा हूं। और मध्य प्रदेश की सरकार के जो अभी हमारे मध्य प्रदेश से लगा हुआ सटा हुआ जो हमारा इलाका है, खासकर रीवांचल वाला, यहाँ सब तरफ लगातार पूरे देश के बाकी राज्यों से लोगों का दबाव बना हुआ आवागमन के कारण से, इसलिए कुंभ प्रशासन की ओर से भी हमसे संपर्क करके हम उनके भी संपर्क में सबसे निवेदन कर रहा हूं कि अभी आप कृपा करके 1-2 दिन इस मार्ग से आगे न बढ़े, क्योंकि ये आगे मेले की व्यवस्थाओं में भी हमको चुनौती आ रही है। और जिस प्रकार का भीड़ का सैलाब उमड़ा है, वाकई ये हमारे लिए सौभाग्य की तो बात है, लेकिन हमारे लिए व्यवस्थाओं के अंदर थोड़ी मदद की बात भी रहेगी।
The opposition in Uttar Pradesh is gunning for Chief Minister Yogi, who has said that the city is prepared for 100 crore pilgrims. Akhilesh Yadav has said that incompetent people can only spread propaganda but not put proper systems in place. For a moment, ladies and gentlemen, let's just forget the politics. The politicians will do what they have to do, badmouth each other. But ladies and gentlemen, we all agree that MahaKumbh is the biggest human gathering on earth. So crowds and traffic jams and long walks up to the Sangam are expected. No one, absolutely no one is coming here expecting this to be a breezy 7-star holiday, except maybe celebrities. They seem to have it good. But if you have a stampede that kills 30 people and traffic jams that gridlock pilgrims for 48 hours and more, then clearly things are not as perfect as the Uttar Pradesh government would like us to believe. Is the pilgrim paying the price of the UP government's over-marketing and under-preparation at the MahaKumbh? Or are they simply overwhelmed by the sheer numbers that beyond a point, there is nothing you can really do? My guests this evening, let me quickly introduce them to you. Pradeep Mahor is leader of the BJP. Rahul Ishwar is an activist. Thank you very much. Ghanshyam Tiwari joining us, national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. And Yashwardhan Azad is a senior police officer. He is joining us on the broadcast as well. Ghanshyam Tiwari, there is latest communication that is coming in from the Uttar Pradesh police, and I want to put it out in front of our viewers so that no one can accuse us of being biased. They have put out some CCTV videos from inside Prayagraj where the streets are looking fairly empty and the traffic is moving, and they are saying all is fine, all is well. Ghanshyam, then, can I ask you, is the Samajwadi Party and Akhilesh Yadav, your chief, being unkind and unrealistic when they expect there to be no traffic jam for a place that has already seen 44 crore people and more on the way?
Good evening, Shreya, to you, the fellow co-panelists and the viewers. There are three important things. One is that this is a civilizational movement for India. It repeats, and as a result, this is an event that the entire nation celebrates. But there is one party, which is BJP, which wants to appropriate the entire civilizational history as well as the religion to its own political propaganda. The result of such appropriation is that at one end, when people were dying of stampede, in few hours, the administration was showering petal from helicopters. Till date, even though the Prime Minister of India, the Home Minister of India, the Defense Minister of India have taken dip in the Holy Kumbh, we don't know the number of deaths in the stampede. We still have had newspaper headlines of people running pillar to post to get death certificate on the front pages. And the Chief Minister, he did act on one day to try and cry, but the reality is till date the state has not released the real people who are behind the mismanagement. Despite or in spite of so many cameras, AI, the state does not know what is the number of people impacted by the stampede. That's one. Second, we woke up to these visuals and headlines such as 300-kilometer jam, that people moved in 6 hours, they moved 3 kilometers. This is on one side of the spectrum. On the other side of the spectrum, every other newspaper that you pick up, every other magazine you pick up, you will have advertisements of BJP chief ministers with their photographs, with Prime Minister's photographs probably, inviting people to the Kumbh. At one level, without proper management, without proper accountability as we saw in the stampede, without proper transparency in case somebody is impacted, you want everybody to visit Kumbh because this in some way is a record that you want to create, to communicate that you celebrate Hinduism and nobody else does. This is not a record, this is a responsibility. The numbers such as 42 crores, 40 crores, they don't matter. What matters is that when people visit, they visit with the safety of their family. They visit in a way that they can take the dip in the Holy Kumbh and they can come back with their faith, with which they went there, without getting the discomfort that such an event is creating because the government is pushing more and more crowds without making arrangement. That is the accountability that is missing, and calling it out with visuals is supporting those who have been fooled by an unaccountable government to just show up where the preparations are not proper.
Okay, Pradeep Mahar, fact is that it is not mainstream media that actually got us the story of this monster jam outside Prayagraj and within Prayagraj as well. It is social media users, and these are common people of India who are on their way to Prayagraj from Maharashtra, from Madhya Pradesh, from Bihar, from many parts of Uttar Pradesh as well, who found themselves stuck for 48 hours, 12 hours, 10 hours, 48 hours. So you can't say this is the opposition spreading false propaganda. This is the people of India, devotees who were headed to Prayagraj, telling us their stories. Now, it's all very well this evening for the UP government to come out and say, "Sab kuch theek hai. In Prayagraj, there are no traffic jams." But Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, this is how it has been. What do you put it down to? I mean, there are people who are traveling to Kumbh, Mr. Mahar, because of their elderly parents, because their elderly parents want to go to the Kumbh. And you have a situation where these elderly parents are stuck without a bathroom in sight for 10 hours, 12 hours, 30 hours.
Look, first we need to understand the kind of crowd that is gathering there. 44, around 45, around 40 crore people have already visited. 43 something, right? That was the figure. So this is equivalent to 1.5 times the population of America. And every day, equivalent to the population of many countries, like Australia, the people are visiting there. So the traffic jams, we can't expect that it's going to be very smooth. Although the government has planned a lot, 2 big express highways are already developed. So many new roads were developed. So planning is there. But still the jams will be there. And to clear the jams, the police is working. Jabalpur-Katni highway. It is not in Uttar Pradesh. It is in Madhya Pradesh. So in Madhya Pradesh, there was a traffic jam because of the Kumbh, because people were rushing to Kumbh. So police had to take an effort to clear it down. So it's a regular effort. When such a big event is happening, we all have to have a big heart, right? Appreciate whatever the government is doing, participate in that. Many non-government organizations are also helping the government to clear out the traffic. So why not we all should also appreciate whatever is happening there. Look, people are very anxious to go there.
Mr.
The
Mahar,
reason is it's one in the lifetime kind of a thing. And it is obvious. Last time, Samajwadi party arranged similar kind of a Kumbh. I mean, that time they were there. So Kumbh always happens. But they were there in the government in 2013. And then the crowd that gathered there was 1.2 crore. Still, they were not able to handle. Understand the kind of crowd, 45 crore. Now we have an expectation. All the experts, they when they analyzed, they were having an expectation that at max the crowd could be 45 crore in 45 days. Right now, the expectations have gone up. It can go up to 55 crores. So this is what is happening. Understand? So we are in a position where even so much crowd is
but
gathered.
Sir, my point
there can be tilting of earth also.
But Yashav, okay, Mr. Mahar, but the fact is that the Chief Minister publicly had said, the Chief Minister had publicly said that 40 crore people are expected, but we are prepared for 100 crore. And the Maha Kumbh was over-marketed. So, people, whether they are in the south or the north of India, east or west, everyone wants to come to the Maha Kumbh. Now, if you were going to be underprepared, you should not have sent an invite to the whole of India.
No,
but Yashwardhan Azad just come in here. Mr. Mahar from the BJP is saying you need to appreciate what the government has put in place. 1 minute ruk jaiye. Yashwardhan Azad, Mr. Mahar is saying you need to appreciate what Yogi and the Uttar Pradesh government has done. These are 44 crore people who have already taken a dip in the Triveni Sangam, and that is saying something. You're saying that this is a complete failure. The opposition is saying this is a complete failure. The systems have failed, etc., etc. But if systems had failed, had 44 crore people been able to take a dip in the Sangam Triveni?
Shreya, well, I have tweeted very strongly on this subject and even written an article on this. Faith certainly can even shake Mount Kailash, and even the oceans can split for Moses. But faith has to be tempered by government. Faith cannot guide the government. And therefore, let me tell you one thing, as a professional who has managed such melas, large-sized melas in the last 35 years, every Kumbh Mela of this kind is a tragedy in waiting. And if the tragedy has not occurred, you are just lucky. No one can manage this kind of a crowd. In fact, the Kumbh which we are talking about, at best you can manage a crowd of 50 lakhs there, no more. Anything more, if you're hyping it, you're marketing it, you're inviting the whole world, you're going for meaningless numbers, then it's a tragedy in waiting. Now, point number two, most of these baths or these rituals, there was a rule earlier that the VIPs will not go on important dates, and in fact, on other dates also, they will not go. It would have been the best thing for Hindu Dharma. And the Mahamandaleshwar also said that it's not important to have a bath at the Sangam knows itself. The baths can be held even away. And therefore, if the Prime Minister, if the Home Minister and the Defense Ministers who had baths in UP, Bihar on the Ganges coast, it would have been beautiful. My Bihari friends and relatives are having baths in Buxar, and I advise them not to go to here. You can have it in the Ganga. Ganga is the purest. And you know, as they say, man changa to kathauti mein Ganga. I didn't even go because I realized that somebody said you have to walk for 10 kilometers. Otherwise, you'll have to take police help, which I didn't want to take. Now, therefore, another thing. The other thing is that we are inviting everyone, anyone from all over the world. And let me tell you, Shreya, anyone going who's slightly known is using the official help. And that is creating problems. There is no doubt about that. You know, the tentage, the boards. Otherwise, an ordinary person, a friend of mine came from Moscow, did not get a plane ticket, went 11 hours by bus, walked 10 kilometers, and then he came back. And what he suffered, he told me. So it's impossible. Now, I totally appreciate the efforts of the UP government, and it's wrong on the part of opposition to say कि उन्होंने ये नहीं किया, वो नहीं किया. You can't do anything, let me tell you. 12 lakhs vehicles entered in the last 2 days in Prayagraj. There is a jam of 48 hours, no doubt about it. But, you know, what can you really do? The AI-enabled cameras are there. Technology is there to assist. Technology cannot change the human behavior. The tragedy which occurred, there were a lot of reasons behind it. I don't want to get into it. But what I'm saying is three things very, very important.
Okay.
Whenever you have a religious mela of this kind, forget about Guinness records. In fact, 2 days before the mela, the government should have let this out. That is the most pious occasion, but we don't have arrangements. So have the baths. The Mahamandaleshwar should have given a call that you can have bathe along the Ganges anywhere. But please don't come here because we have very, very limited capacity. So in conclusion, the best thing is to admit and say that we have to manage the Kumbh, which is more important than guide the faith. Let the faith be guided by other people. We have to manage the entire arrangements. And therefore, from 1954 till today, we are having the same stampedes for the same reasons.
Ghanshyam Tiwari, before I go to Manish Bariyar, I want to come to you. You know, this is a question that many people are asking. You know, when you see these pictures of monster traffic jams, every road leading up to Prayagraj being completely jam-packed, etc. The fact is, the question will be asked, what can the government do? If there are so many people who are making their way to the Kumbh, all the way from Maharashtra, via Madhya Pradesh to Prayagraj, from Bihar, from Delhi, from Uttar Pradesh, beyond the point, what can the government do? How do you stop them? You can't stop them. Madhya Pradesh, of course, has started asking people to turn back. You can't stop them. There will be monster jams. You will be stuck in it.
Shreya, 7,500 crore is the budget allocated to Kumbh. The government has a Mela Management Authority. When you are the authority, you have to estimate crowds and you have to ensure that your marketing and your invites are attuned to the management you can provide. But when an entire party takes over the authority, they don't care how people are suffering. They would not even tell you that the number of deaths in a stampede, and yet shower petal on the same a few hours later from the helicopter, because the propaganda has taken over. You want to show these numbers, 40 crore, 45 crores. No one is going to count. You cannot count tens or maybe hundreds of people who are impacted by the stampede. How can you say 44 crore, 46 crore? You can compete with those numbers, but the reality is it is not the job of these governments to take over the newspapers, the magazines, every pillar and post that they can advertise, to tell people that come here and crowd out the event. What is the calling by the governments to crowd out an event without taking accountability, without making due management and other facilities made available is a crime. It is a disaster, as Yashwardhan Azadji said. It's a disaster waiting to happen. The role of the government is to be responsible and ensure that the stream of people who are coming is in a manageable stream, rather than calling out records like 100 crore people will come. Anybody with basic common sense can say that in a country of 140 crore people, 40 crore would not have visited Prayagraj. But BJP believes that people of India will support BJP without common sense. So they can come out on television and say, oh, 44 crore, 45 crore, 50 crore. And the chief minister can say 100 crore will visit. I mean, you are basically assuming that common people don't have common sense. That is what you want to accomplish.
Manish Barya, just come in here. You're just joining us on the broadcast. We've seen, over the last 48 hours, we have seen pictures of these monster jams and people who have been stuck for 10 hours, 14 hours, 28 hours, 40 hours, putting out their plight for the rest of the country to see. Yet that is not stemming the number of people who are headed to Prayagraj. It is faith that drives them. I understand that. But could the UP government have done two things? A, make all roads toll-free? Because, one of the choke points is toll plazas, right? Everyone is stopping to pay, etc. Many don't have FASTags. So could they or could they not have actually made all roads coming into Prayagraj toll-free? And secondly, this is something that Yashwardhan Azad was suggesting. Why could the government, the Prime Minister, the Mahamandaleshwars not come out and say, look, guys, it's not necessary for you to head to the Maha Kumbh. The Maha Kumbh is everywhere. Anywhere you take a dip in the Ganga is equally pious. Be where you are, go to the place which is closest to you, take a dip and go back home. You have done your duty as a Hindu. Could that not have been done? Would that have eased up the pressure on Prayagraj? Because clearly the pressure on Prayagraj is showing with the pictures on your screens.
Good evening to you, and good evening to all the co-panelists and your viewers. I would say that I would agree to the first part, where definitely to ensure that these kind of jams do not agree. A better planning could have been done, and even the toll plazas could have been made free for the time being. And it is not something which is unprecedented. It does happen during some of the festivals. So here it could have been done. I think now if we look at in hindsight with those kind of jams, it should have been definitely done. But the second part, I do not, really agree fully with that. Because, people want to come, so you just cannot stop, isn't it? People want to go to Vaishnav Devi. So what happens there? There is a batch planning. People plan it. You have to take tickets before. They're not chargeable. And technology could have been used to pre-book all these, timings, different timings. And I think that could have sorted a lot of issues. I feel so because number of places and very high-profile places where you find huge populations coming in. Now technology is playing a role. So you can see even at Tirumala, where you can pre-book, and even in Varanasi, you can take up tickets. I think that could have really at least put a bit of less pressure. I also take a bit of exception, to your term being over-marketing. I was listening to you. I don't think, it's over-marketing as such. It comes in 144 years. And I also take exception to the fact Ghanshyamji was talking about that 40 crore people are not coming. I must tell you, every second person I know, they are going to Kumbh. People from Karnataka, from Tamil Nadu, you name a person, you will find they are going there. So I also feel that 40 crore is not an exaggeration, although you can always, contest that. But then people want to go there. And therefore, it was the duty of the government to manage it, arrange it properly. And from that, what we see and what we hear, there are two kinds of experiences. A lot of people have good experience and they're going there, coming back properly. And some of them, they have horrible experiences. I think the government could have done better for sure, especially with what you use the word over-marketing. Yes, government did, ask people. And I think that was pretty nice. Government was asking, they said that we have arrangements. I think they could have done much better. Definitely there.
Okay, I think that's a fair assessment. That's a fair assessment, and you say that technology and AI could have been used better. I'm sure it could have been used better. But if you just look at, just to play the devil's advocate in this case, and this on behalf of the UP government, if you look at Tirumala, the example you gave us, last week the per day footfall was about 60,000 maximum for a day, maybe 1 lakh a day. But look at the numbers for the Kumbh. On Monday morning itself, there were 40 lakh people who had taken a dip. So the numbers here that we are talking about are mind-boggling. And the poorest of the poor come to the Kumbh. The poorest of the poor. I had the opportunity of being in the last Kumbh, Maha Kumbh 12 years ago. I spent 45 days there as part of my job. The poorest of poor come. I don't think they can book slots. This is for them more than any selfie taker. And by the looks of it, there's a Me Too, the feeling of being left out phenomena that has engulfed India as well. You see celebrities go, you see your friends go, and you want to go whether or not you believe because you want a selfie there, taking a dip. That, to my mind, is a little dangerous. And anyway, the entire reason this program has been done here on Mirror Now is to tell people who may be planning to take their elderly parents to Prayagraj. Guys, we are not trying to discourage you. If you want to go, you want to go. It's a matter of faith. But at least before you step out of your house, ensure that you have done a Google check to see whether the traffic is clear. If the traffic is clear, step out. Otherwise, please stay at home. Otherwise, you'll be stuck in a jam for 48 hours. Although the UP government this evening is claiming all is well. We'll leave it there for the moment. Thank you very much. Pradeep Mahar, good to have you on the show. Manish Baria, thank you very much. Ghanshyam Tiwari, thank you. And Yashwardhan Azad, thank you very much for being with us. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, I'm slipping into a quick break on the show. Coming up from Allahabad, we are going straight to Allahabadi and telling you what India's #1 YouTuber has done that he had to actually come out and apologize.